Let me show you just how much Brandon Johnson is standing on business. He did a Q&A yesterday, last night, right after I got off. I feel like Brandon Johnson and his staff is watching my show on a regular basis. Can we get a round of applause for Brandon Johnson? Brandon Johnson need a coaching session. Make sure you tap into the Patreon, Brandon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Before we read the super chats, somebody said Brandon Johnson. They sent me this video this morning. They said Brandon Johnson yesterday did a Q&A with the media, and he said that he was standing on business as far as the migrant crisis is concerned. So let me share with you what Brandon Johnson said, and then we're going to get to the money right after that. Then we're going to read the super chats right after that. Then I'm going to continue to incentivize y'all to do the thing that y'all want to do. But right now, he said he's standing on business.
Mayor, can you please share some specific steps you guys talked about to address the race?
Now, I have not seen this video. I'm watching it for the first time that you guys are watching it, so we're going to review it together. I've been taking care of business. I've been trying to prepare for what's going on in corporate. You know what I'm saying?
Divisions that have been, heated because of the migrant influx. And, is that, knocking on doors? Is that events? Is that, faith events? What kind of specific steps are you going to take to heal?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing is that we have to tell the entire truth and the entire story. Because this notion that it's only black people who are concerned about the migrant crisis is not true. That's right. So some of the conversation around this division, there are individuals who want to score political points, to sow these negative seeds, to get us fighting one another. But in order for me to have an entire commission dedicated to reparations, as well as an entire office dedicated to reentry, a dedicated revenue stream for the unhoused, that requires black, brown, and white votes. In fact, the city council has actually demonstrated that even the things that black folks are concerned about, that it turns out that other members of city council agree. Look, the whole impetus behind what's happening at the border is for extremism in this country to plant these seeds of negativity to divide our city. And so what we are doing as a city is what this city did when they elected me, is that we surround ourselves around our values. We speak to our values by passing paid time off, by abolishing sub-minimum wage, which of course is going to benefit black and brown people, and that we're going to continue to do what we do best, and that's organize our communities around the values that make the city of Chicago the greatest city in the world.
Okay. I might be a little slow, but I'm not that slow. Y'all said he having a bad hair day? I might be a little slow, but I'm not that slow. Okay. What I heard was this. I ain't hear nothing but Charlie Brown talk over here. I heard nothing about actually addressing a migrant crisis that was basically asked him directly. What are you doing about it, buddy? How are you solving for it? Why are you letting this to continue to come in? Is it spirituality? Is it principles? What is it? And all I heard was, don't let them divide us, unhoused, and then he threw in a couple other political talking points talking about passing minimum wage laws and all of this and paid time off leave. Man, what are you talking about, fam? What are you talking about, fam? What? You not going to use no big words in order to finesse me? Man, you ain't said nothing. Maybe I'm off. Let me continue to hear what he has to say, and then we're going to go from there. I'm going to be a patient man today.
Mayor, you're here with a number of black pastors, and one of the issues that we've seen...
And it's always the church. The media just called it out for what it is. You're standing here with a bunch of black pastors. How many of y'all, you know what my Wednesday night live stream is going to be? Let me write a note right now. Right now, I'm about to write a note. The church sold you out. I might have to throw a couple of other talking points in there. The church sold you out. He's surrounded by a bunch of black pastors. Let the church say amen. 1, 2. Freddie's coming. Anton's coming for you. 3, 4. Better lock your door. 5, 6. Take your crucifix. 7, 8. I'ma lay them straight. 9, 10. Chicago coming up. Yo, I'm coming for everybody in Chicago that is in a position of leadership that continues to do the thing that's not in the best interest of the people. The pastors, the politicians, the business people, the corruption. We're going to undo 100+ years of corruption in Chicago right here on the Millionaire Morning Show, and I will not stop until I get answers. Why is the church standing behind a political leader when he's being questioned about the migrant crisis over in the city, and he won't answer the people when they then ask him questions about what it is that he's doing in order to solve for the problems that they're having within their own communities? What is going on in the church? God ain't in this. God ain't in that. I'm going to tell you right now, as a person that is studied, as a person that advocates for, as a person that lobbies and is basically an evangelist for the church, as far as I'm always highlighting the great things that God is doing in my life and I'm a reflection of it, God ain't in this. I said it, and tell your pastor I said, what up, though? Tell your female pastor that shouldn't even be on the pulpit in the first place, I said, what up, though? I said it right here, right now. God ain't in this. And if your leader is a woman pastor, then he ain't in that either. That's what the word of God say. You can't modify the word to be something that is not. The pastors, a bunch of black men with receding hairlines and no mustaches, is over here supporting this politician that's doing the thing that's bad for the people.
Or not happen is black churches stepping up to take in some of these migrants. Did your discussions today include any discussions about black churches stepping up? And are you asking pastors to do that part in this?
I got you.
You know,
I got
the
you,
beauty
Marcia.
of this moment is that I don't have to ask people
Clown
who are
show.
tethered to a faith that's bigger than a government to step up and do right by people. There are black leaders that are stepping up and leaning in and supporting migrants in this moment. There are black pastors who are stepping up and making sure that the dollars that are appropriated for violence prevention, that the council is prepared to vote for that. You know, the whole work around reentry, Reverend Marshall Hatch has an entire village on the west side of Chicago called the My Alpha Project that is dedicated to making sure that individuals who are formerly incarcerated get another chance at economic security.
What about the migrants? I mean, have you had any discussions?
Press 'em.
What I'm saying is that black leaders in this city have always stood up for what is right.
Are they taking
They're
steps
doing what
where
they've always done, which is leaning in and supporting not just this crisis, but every single crisis that this city has had to endure. What we don't ever have to debate is where the black church stands when it comes to justice. And this situation is no different. I've
is a
answered
bunch
your
of
question.
pandering.
They have.
I haven't heard you answer the question about whether you.
Which part of my question are you not understanding?
I'm
What
not
part of my
understanding
answer that you're not
whether
understanding?
you've asked them to step up.
What
and
I'm
help
saying
out,
is that they've
particularly
already
migrants.
done it, is what I'm saying.
Done
They've
what?
already done it.
I don't understand where.
You don't understand that they've already done it?
I
Can we move on? Because apparently, I've said it repeatedly, that, let me just, I'm clear, that black pastors have already stepped up in this moment. Of course, we're having conversations about how the federal government and the state government has to do more. But I wanted to be emphatically clear, because if you're not hearing it, I want you to hear it clear. Black pastors are stepping up as they always have stepped up.
No. The question was, are black pastors, the ones that are surrounding you, are they housing these migrants, and how are they specifically supporting this crisis as it relates to taking in the very people that they say that they advocate for, especially considering that they're supporting you and what it is that you're doing. You're not going to throw a bunch of words in front of me and think that you just said something just because I'm a C student. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I asked you. I asked you a direct question as it relates to the migrant crisis. What specifically are they doing? You're not just going to say, well, they stepped up like they always stepped up. Stepped up how? And was it in the best interest of the people? And did they use the church dollars in order to do so that the people are tithing and offering over in there in order? Because I thought we was getting we still got the building fund from 1968. The building fund is still going from 1968, and you're going to sit here and talking about that they stepped up. How? And where's the money coming from? And who took a pay cut? And then how many of them are you housing? And then are you feeding them on top of that? And is that in the best interest of the community and the people? And did they do it for their own people before they started doing it for people that's not even there, that don't even belong there, that came out of nowhere and they don't even know what their background is? I need to know who and what and where and how and why. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. That's what they taught us in school. Answer every question and please give it to us like a C student. Don't overtalk us. Don't try to throw a bunch of words on top of it. I am curious, what specifically are you doing, and is it in the best interest of the people? You're not going to finesse me. You're not going to finesse me, Brandon.
I do have a different question, but I am going to back off my colleague in saying I think he's just asking how many churches have taken in families. Our churches taking families. That's it.
Sure. Well, a number of them have stepped up, and we're going to continue to push for more of them to step up.
All right, but I do have a question on a different topic. Can you talk a little bit about your pick as the new health commissioner, why she was chosen, and why you believe she will make a better health commissioner than Allison Arwady?
Well, as you know, public health is an important part of my administration, and as I've said repeatedly, her work to pass treatment, not trauma, was an essential part of my campaign, and we've delivered on that promise. Opening up mental health clinics, which were shut down by a couple of administrations ago, that we are obviously moving with expedition.
They're going to bankrupt the city,
to make sure that public health reaches
they're going to bankrupt the city, family.
Neighborhood.
I'm telling you.
Dr. Ige is an incredible human being. Quite frankly, she really imbibes the collaborative, competent, compassionate spirit that I've said from the very beginning that leadership in my administration has to imbibe. And the vote and the confidence that she has from community leaders, as well as key stakeholders that understand that public health has to be a system of care, that she represents the values in which the people of Chicago want to see.
I genuinely don't like
in their
him.
public health commissioner.
Mayor, in addition to what you said a moment ago about the efforts of clergy stepping up to address the migrant crisis and your calls repeatedly on the state and federal government to step in for help, given all of that, is it time for your office to acknowledge that the city is struggling to address the needs of this crisis?
I don't know which part of my time in 6 months as mayor that we have not acknowledged that we cannot bear the responsibility alone.
Y'all realize that this man has done in 6 months. He's upended this city in 6 months in ways that you know not of. Y'all got 4-year terms over there in Chicago, right? He don't have to worry about no election until he's in the final year of his term, meaning that that's the time that he starts to do the thing that y'all can then say, hey, Brandon did this, or hey, Brandon did that. Because people have a short memory and they're going to forget, right? 6 months. That means he has 3.5 more years to govern you, to balance your budgets, to determine what's an emergency and what's not, to invite more people into the city, to do what he's been doing the whole time, which is a terrible job at being a mayor of Chicago. Y'all got 3.5 more years of this nonsense. That's insane. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe I warned y'all. I had a conversation with y'all, and I was talking about the Safety Act, and I was talking about what was coming in Chicago, and I said, this is who's running, and Lori Lightfoot is doing a horrible job, Beetlejuice, and we continued that conversation, and I said, listen, y'all got this black guy up here, and he got a mohawk, and I'm not feeling him. My spirit is telling me that, my spidey senses is telling me that this is not good. Don't do it, Chi-Town. Y'all said we gonna do what we want to do because we Southside. Okay, all right. You deserve Brandon Johnson. You deserve him and all of their pastors and all of their mohawks and the glory that comes along with it. This is the manifestation of your greatness. You deserve everything that Brandon Johnson is giving to you right now. Let's see a little bit more because I can't take any more of this. It's too much slow talking and not enough substantiating your argument in this conversation.
That this responsibility, of course, has placed a tremendous amount of stress on families. That has
I
always
warned
been
y'all.
acknowledged.
But I guess specifically at our juncture now, I mean, we're entering winter months. It's getting colder. I think people are curious about what is the assessment of the proposed base camps. I mean, I don't know that people have seen tents pop up or things happening. So I
We
guess
have
that's
stood up.
my
Yeah,
question
I
is-
think I understand your question. I think
Yeah.
I understand the second part of
Sure.
your question. Is that what are we doing in this moment?
Right, as a city
Yeah.
moving quickly enough to address this crisis.
Well, look, I've stood up a brand new shelter every single week since I've been in office. That we renegotiated a contract with a staffing agency that I inherited to reduce costs. We put out RFPs for support for individuals who can help manage facilities as well as provide food and support. But what we can't lose sight of is that the plan that I have put forth and I've carried out, that it requires investments from the state and the federal government. I've said that repeatedly.
Translation. Let me give y'all the translation. They don't just want to use Chicago money. They don't just want to make sure that they're raising property taxes. They don't want to just continue to torpedo the budget. They want all of our money. That's what this means. When they say we want federal money, they saying that we hiring these IRS agents in order to go after all of the people in the middle class that's going to be paying the majority of the taxes, and we're going to create a social welfare, the biggest social welfare program ever seen in the history of the United States as it relates to one particular city. That's what they're telling you. We want all of y'all to participate in what we got going on over here. Not some of y'all, all of y'all. That's what federal dollars mean. It means that it now becomes all of our responsibility to make sure that they get clothed, health care, food, shelter. Let me tell you what's going to happen if I ever become president. The first thing that I'm doing, I'm cutting out all social programs. Listen, if you can't swim, you bound to drizzle. If you can't swim, you bound to drizzle. We going to get the budget right. We going to operate at a surplus and not a deficit. We going to pay down the national debt. We going to stop printing money. We going to lower inflation. It's going to be some, listen, when I become president of the United States of the Americas, the first 3 years, it's going to be tough. It's going to be some gnashing of teeth. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it. Listen, give me 10 years. Give me 10. If I'm still alive in 10 years, I'm coming and I am upending. Listen, mark my words. They're going to replay this today. I'm going to upend everything that y'all did wrong. I'm going to change it around in 3 years. It's going to be some starving. Ain't going to be no EBT cards. Everybody going to be suffering. Everybody, listen, because you're going to have some uncomfortable moments in order to get to the other side. Listen, you know what it's like? Right now in the United States of America, we dope fiends. Let me get this man off of my TV. Right now in the United States of America, we're dope fiends. We're dope fiends. Meaning that we just can't get off the needle. We still got that monkey on our back. Still got that heroin going through our veins. Still trying to wean off of it by making sure that we can get a little bit of fentanyl mixed with horse tranquilizers. Y'all dope fiends. We on a sugar high. We're on a sugar high. That's what we are. My campaign, my slogan is going to be some gnashing of the teeth out here in these streets. In order for us to get back on track, we're going to have to derail this thing. And we're going to have to put y'all back at ease, soldier. It's going to be some suffering, some slow singing, and some flower bringing out here in these streets. I'm telling you, you bound. Yes, Kobe, you bound to drizzle. And if you can't swim, we just going to weed you out. Ain't no migrants going to want to come over here. Nope. Ain't going to be no social programs for you to get on. Listen, reparations, dead on arrival. Don't even think about it. Don't even think about it. I'm not giving you a dime. You ain't getting no EBT. Listen, when I get in office, you got 8 months. Whatever it is that you're doing, you got an 8-month head start. Everything getting cut off after that. You better enroll in school. You better figure it out. You better go and get it together because all of the money is going to go into the right places. We're going to balance the budget. We're going to lay people off. Yes, I'm going to be laying people off from all of these federal offices, IRS staff, done with. Smaller government coming to a city near you. Transportation secretary laid off. Everybody getting laid off. Everybody getting laid off. We can't afford you. We're going to run this junk just like a business. We're going to streamline it all the way to its core. If we don't need you, you're going to have to learn how to create a job for yourself. Go ahead and show me how you start your own business. We're not incentivizing you to do nothing. No more tax breaks, no more nothing. No more nothing. We going to reinvest in our communities. We're going to reinvest into the police. We're going to build up our infrastructure. We're going to make sure that we have the best education, the best public transportation. And if you can't innovate, then you out of here. You up out of there. We going back to 1950. 1950, where people dressed up to go to the baseball games. 1950. Yes, we are. Watch me run for president. Watch me get there. I'm going to get there.